In starting of the anime, we see our main character inside a dark dungeon, saying to himself, "Where exactly am I? The last thing I remember is that the demon killed me. Indeed, I died by the steel of demon tribe. But now, upon looking around, it seems I have reincarnated again. But what happened to me?" Then he starts looking at a screen that flashes in front of his eyes, revealing his status, and he finds that he has two skills, Elemental Howling and Skill Absorb. It is revealed that he has become an S-rank monster Behemoth Cub, child of Behemoth, and that in this world, such monsters are the strongest ones, classified as disaster class monsters, requiring multiple nations to unite together to defeat them. He laughs at the irony of fate that, once a knight who dedicated his life to fight such monster is now reincarnated into the same creature. When he sees his reflection in the water, he is very shocked because he looks like a cat. In the next scene, we see an elf named Arya, who wakes up early, gets ready with her swords, and starts heading toward the same dungeon to kill monsters. On the other hand, we see the same cat worried about his wounds. Then he notices an E-rank slime and uses Elemental Howling to kill it. Afterward, he feels hungry and says, "Since reincarnating, I haven't eaten anything." He eats the slime, and suddenly slime's power gets absorbed into him due to his absorb skill. Then he realizes he has a storage skill, which he uses to store the slime. Meanwhile, Arya reaches the gate but is denied entry by the guards. She shows them a locket, after which they let her in. On the other hand, the cat encounters a dangerous B-rank wyvern, kills it, eats its meat, and absorbs its skill. Then he defeats several high-rank monsters and absorbs all their skills, continuing his journey. Eventually, he finds a treasure chest. Overjoyed, he says, "I never got something this precious in my previous life, but now I can finally have it." However, as he approaches, he realizes it is a trap and gets teleported to a different location. There, he encounters an extremely dangerous S-rank earth dragon, which says, "Now you will die." The cat fights the monster with all his strength, but his howling attack has no effect. The monster attacks with its claws, and although the cat creates a shield, the monster's claws are so powerful that the shield breaks. The cat is shocked and severely injured. The dragon, enraged, prepares to kill the cat. Using his remaining skills, the cat dodges and escapes by flying away, leaving the monster furious. The next moment, we see the cat in a dire state, bleeding and barely able to walk, saying, "It seems this is the end for me." Then he collapses unconscious. At this point, Arya enters the scene and finds the cat. She approaches him. In the next scene, the cat wakes up in Arya's house, shocked to see her taking care of him. Watching her, he thinks, "It seems she doesn't know that I am a monster. She thinks I am just a normal cat." Days pass, and Arya continues to take care of the cat, and the two bond as Arya even him sleep on her plots. One day, after Arya gives him food and leaves, the cat thinks, "She gave me food, healed me, and even gave me a place to stay. From now on, I will serve her. She is my master." Saying this, he secretly hides on Arya's boat. After that, he follows her quietly and even reaches the dungeons. After some time, Arya sees some goblins, and with the help of her speed, she goes and kills all of them. Seeing this, the cat is shocked and says to himself, "It seems she is quite fast." But then suddenly, another goblin mage appears. Arya gets completely ready, but this goblin was no ordinary one. It was Mage. Then, cunningly, it fires magic at Arya, catching her off guard. However, our main character the cat comes and moves Arya aside just in time. He thinks to himself, "I cannot use my skill, or else she will find out." Saying this, he directly punches the goblin in the face, killing it instantly. Arya is very surprised and asks, "Cat, why are you here?" After this, she starts loving the cat even more and thanks it for saving her. Then Arya goes to the guild. Suddenly, a man appears and says, "Arya, it's nice to see you. Have you finally come to join my party?" Arya declines, but the man looks at her with lustful eyes and tries to touch her inappropriately from behind. However, the cat jumps straight to the man and scratches his face, which makes him very angry. He draws his sword to kill the cat, but just then, the guild receptionist and former B-rank adventurer appears and stops him. He says, "Cussman, don't you know it's illegal to draw a sword inside the guild?" Seeing the receptionist, Cussman becomes very scared and runs away. Arya thanks the receptionist, whose name is Anna. Anna says, "This cute little cat seems to be your armor, meaning your knight?" Arya replies, "Yes, he has saved my life twice. From now on, his name is Tama, and I'm officially making it my pet." Hearing this, the cat becomes very happy and says to himself, "I feel really good about this." Then Arya gives the goblin ears she collected from the dungeon to the receptionist. In the next moment, we see Arya is quite drunk and in her drunken state, she tells the cat, "Now you will bathe with me." Tama becomes very shocked and says to himself, "I won't look at my master or enter her dressing room." But he ends up there anyway. He then says to himself, "I won't bathe with my master," but eventually he bathes with her. Later, Arya says, "Hey Tama, do you think I will ever become strong?" Tama is very surprised to hear this. Arya continues, "When I was little, many demons attacked my village, but then a sword saint appeared and killed all the demons by herself, saving all of us. Since then, I've wanted to become like her when I grow up." Hearing this, Tama thinks to himself, "I've heard about her. She was a hero, Ragnarok." He then goes to Arya to comfort her. In the next scene, we see Arya stepping out early in the morning. Everyone greets her with good morning and talks to her, which makes Tama think, it seems everyone likes Arya. When they reach the guild, Anna says, "Arya, you should leave here." Arya doesn't understand, but then Kusman arrives with an order stating that anyone who harms him will be sentenced to death. Seeing this, Arya becomes very scared, and Tama becomes furious, thinking, he's here to take revenge for the scratch I gave him the other day. Arya kneels before Kusman and pleads, "Please don't hurt him. Let him go." Kusman says, "Okay, I'll give you a chance. Duel with me. If you win, I'll let the cat go. But if I win, you'll have to marry me." Hearing this, Arya becomes very troubled and furious but accepts to save Tama. In the next scene, we see the entire arrangement for the fight. Anna is the referee and announces, C-rank Kusman is about to fight D-rank Arya. Before the fight begins, Kusman says, "I know I'm a higher rank than Arya, so I'll give her a chance. Anyone who wants to can fight alongside her can come out." But no one from the crowd steps up to help Arya and Kusman starts laughing. At that moment, Tama comes forward. Seeing this, Anna says, "Arya, do you understand? I believe this is the right choice. He will protect you." Kusman laughs and says, "If you want, you can take the help of a cat too." The fight begins. Tama runs straight at Kushman to attack him, but Kushman knocks him away with his sword. Tama thinks to himself, "I knew it. If I don't use my skill, I can't defeat him." Then Arya uses her speed to attack Kusman, but he dodges and kicks her hard. Kusman then attacks Arya and starts overpowering her. Meanwhile, Tama is very troubled, thinking, should I use my skill? But if I do, everyone will know I'm a monster, and that would cause a lot of problems. What should I do? On the other side, Kusman strikes Arya down and says, "Arya, give up and marry me." Despite this, Arya doesn't lose courage. Kusman prepares to deliver the final blow, but Tama blocks it using his shield and uses his howling attack to send Kusman flying. Anna, Arya, and everyone else are amazed. Tama thinks to himself, now everyone knows I'm not a normal cat but a dangerous monster. It seems this is the end for me. These people will kill me now. Oh well, at least I was able to protect my master in my final moments. That's enough for me. I can die happily now. However, Anna and Arya, overjoyed, say, it seems this is an elemental cat. It can even understand human language. Hearing this, Tama becomes very surprised and somewhat relieved. He thinks, they didn't realize it. These people are quite foolish. Arya wins the match, and everyone cheers for her. In the next scene, we see both of them sleeping peacefully, and Tama says, this is how my journey begins. This is where episode 1 ends, and this is an ongoing anime. If you want to see the next episodes, give it as many likes and comments as possible, because the more likes and comments it gets, the sooner I'll bring the next episode. Tama and Arya both wake up early in the morning, and after a bit of care, Tama licks Arya's elf ear, which unexpectedly excites her. She gets excited by this, starts making strange noises, wanting him to lick her ears again, making Tama uncomfortable. Meanwhile, we see a girl who appears to be a blacksmith and has tiger-like ears. Arya arrives and we learn that the girl's name is Vulcan, and she is not only a blacksmith but also a C-rank adventurer. Vulcan was crafting a sword for Arya, which is almost ready, but Arya has another purpose today. She wants Vulcan to make a shield for Tama as well. However, Vulcan seems more interested in playing with Tama. Arya places Tama on her bouncy balls, though it's a bit smaller than Arya's, and Tama enjoys the moment, living his dream life. Vulcan starts taking Tama's measurements for armor, which looks adorable on him. Vulcan, a brilliant craftswoman, is almost finished with the sword too. However, Arya struggles with wielding the sword properly. Vulcan suggests forming a temporary party to observe Arya's fighting style and solve the problem. Everyone agrees and heads into a dungeon. Inside the dungeon, Vulcan quickly crushes all the goblins with her hammer, showcasing her power. She defeats all the monsters of upper floor so that Arya can fight with stronger monsters in lower floors and Vulcan can observe her fighting style. In the lower floors they encounter a monster drooling at the sight of the girls. Arya, despite finding it disgusting, steps forward to fight. Vulcan notices something different about Arya's approach. Tama uses his iron body skill to block an attack, giving Arya an opening. Vulcan advises Arya that her long sword might be limiting her movements, making her attacks predictable. Determined to become stronger, Arya proceeds to the next floor. Here, they encounter strange monsters resembling slimes, capable of dissolving clothes. These monsters, called Rippers, are particularly dangerous for Arya. She asks Tama to protect her and moves forward using her acceleration skill. However, one of her swords slips from her hand and the other one eventually breaks. Vulcan hands her a small knife, which improves her speed and movements. With one swift strike, Arya defeats the slime-like Ripper, cutting off its tentacles. Although as she cuts the tentacles of the monster, some weird liquid falls on her, she declares in frustration that her body is exclusively for Tama alone and not for anyone else. She slices the Ripper with her slicing gouge attack, defeating it completely. Tama seizes the opportunity to consume the defeated monster and gains a new crossbreed skill, though it tastes bitter. Arya, frustrated, realizes her long swords doesn't suit her style and resolves to use smaller weapons which are better suited for her. Arya and Vulcan decides to clean themselves after the battle. They find a stream nearby. As water flows nearby, Arya sees a philosopher's stone which was keeping monsters away from the stream and she gets reminded of her village's destruction caused by the demons. One by one, the girls begin undressing to bathe, and Tama tries not to look but eventually gets invited to join. While bathing, Arya asks Vulcan about her original party. Vulcan shares how her party of 3 broke up when the other 2 members fell in love, leading to the group's separation. Vulcan warns Arya about Tama being an elemental cat which are capable of crossbreeding with other creatures and advises her to be cautious as he might do it with her as he grows up. Arya gets excited, saying it's wonderful and urges Tama to grow bigger quickly so he can marry her and they can have little kittens together. This leaves Vulcan and Tama shocked. The group encounters a large ox-like monster next named Minotaur, and Arya uses her acceleration skill to attack. However, the monster's body is extremely hard, making it difficult for her to land a significant blow. Now, Arya's speed increases, but her power still isn't sufficient. Vulcan tries to support her from behind but the Minotaur stops the attack with his shield and throws her away. Arya continues attacking, strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, repeatedly, but the attacks are still not enough to take down the Minotaur. Finally, an attack lands on its eyes, which frustrates the ox further. It crashes its staff into a wall, causing stones to fall directly toward Vulcan. However, Tama saves Vulcan just in time and then takes down the Minotaur, eventually defeating it. This act of saving Vulcan impresses her deeply, and she falls in love with Tama, calling him so manly. She declares that not only did Tama save her life, but he is also a powerful and capable alpha male. Afterward, they return to the guild, where they learn they can sell all the loot they collected. Arya feels stronger upon hearing this, and the guild receptionist is also pleased. They celebrate by throwing a party, drinking at the tavern, and enjoying themselves. Meanwhile, Vulcan has gathered a lot of materials. Vulcan suggests forming a real party with Arya and Tama, saying the 3 of them could work together. Arya hesitates, doubting if she's worthy, but she's touched by the offer. Tama then steps forward, takes Arya's hand in his mouth, and places it gently in Vulcan's hand, signaling his approval. With Tama's encouragement, Arya accepts the offer, and they officially form a party. During the night, Tama is seen sleeping between the 2 girls, confused and unable to move. He checks his stats and realizes that his power has increased significantly. He discovers he can now evolve into his second form, but he hesitates, fearing that if he evolves, he might become so powerful that he could destroy the entire country. Thus, he decides to remain in his current small form, staying between the 2 girls and their bouncy balls. The next day, Arya dresses up nicely, accompanied by Tama, and they head out somewhere. Along the way, they come across 2 men beating a young kid with sticks. Angered, both Arya and Tama intervene. Seeing Tama, the elemental cat, The men are terrified and flee. Arya helps the kid up and asks about her parents. The girl, whose name is Lala, reveals she has no parents. Arya takes her along, bringing her to a church. At the church, there are many other orphan children. Arya introduces Lala to them, and they quickly become friends. Arya meets the nun in charge, who expresses gratitude for Arya's visits, saying the children have been much happier since she started coming. Arya plays with the children, and Lala feels happy and accepted, enjoying the company of her new friends. Meanwhile, Tama resolves to use his growing power to support and protect his master. The two girls, now dressed in their adventurer outfits, set off on their journey again. Tama marvels at the view, thinking about the life he's experiencing. At the guild, the receptionist announces that Arya has officially become a level C adventurer. A celebration follows, with everyone rejoicing over Arya's achievement. Shortly after, a new quest is announced, an emergency quest. People of all ages, including children, women, and men, have been disappearing mysteriously. The disappearances are believed to be the work of a demon who has been abducting them, but no one knows why or what happens to the captives. Arya, determined to uncover the truth and defeat the demon, takes on the quest. Arya gets excited and says, "Anna, tell me more." Vulcan interrupts, asking, "Arya, you're not thinking of going there, are you?" Arya confidently replies, "Yes, we must go there and help." Vulcan agrees, saying, "All right, then I'll come with you." Anna explains, "But to take on this quest, you'll need to join a knight squad." Suddenly, a man steps forward and declares, "Both of them will join my squad. I'm a knight taking on this quest, and my name is Cedric Ruin." Hearing this, everyone in the guild is shocked and exclaims, "It's Sir Cedric, the eldest son of the Marquis." Vulcan and Arya introduce themselves to Cedric, who replies, "There's no need to be so formal, we'll be fighting together." Tama, observing Cedric, recalls how years ago, a massive demon army attacked the world. That war, known as the greatest in history, was between humans and demons. Thankfully, the great mage and his team arrived in time and defeated the demons, securing victory for humanity. Cedric was part of Great Mage's party and fought like a hero in that war. Back in the present, Arya says, "Sir Cedric, we're going to fight demons, so we'll need more people." Anna reassures her, "Don't worry, Cedric already has an incredible team." The next morning, Arya and Vulcan are ready to leave, but Tama notices that Arya seems nervous. To cheer her up, Tama licks her cheek. Arya smiles, understanding, and says, "You want me to cheer up, don't you, Tama?" "Thank you." She kisses Tama on the cheek, making him blush. Tama thinks to himself, "Why is my heart racing so fast?" Later, they board a cart with other team members, including Danny, Howard, Kenny, and Marta. Arya introduces Tama to the group, explaining that he is an elemental cat. Everyone gets excited, and all the girls begin playfully arguing over who gets to hold Tama. Tama, enjoying the attention, relaxes on their laps. Moreover, he gets more and more bouncy balls to play with. Damn lucky cat. Suddenly, on the road, they encounter a horde of ogres. Cedric commands, "Danny, handle them." Danny draws his sword and swiftly defeats the ogres one by one. Arya and the others are amazed by his strength. They finally reach the town, where a villager explains, "Most of our people are missing. We sent an advanced party to find them, but they haven't returned. You are our last hope. Rest well tonight and leave tomorrow." That evening, as they eat together, Arya asks the knights why they became knights. Danny explains, "I have a lot of debt to pay off." Howard adds, "Same here." Kenny shares, "I need to pay for my sister's treatment," while Marta reveals, "I need to free my father from slavery." Hearing this, Arya feels bad and apologizes, but they assure her, "Don't worry about it, we've all come to terms with it." The next scene shows them bathing in a hot spring. Tama watches and gets overwhelmed by the beauty around him, thinking, "Who should I look at? Everyone here is stunning." Arya suddenly grabs Tama and washes him with soap, and he enjoys it. Meanwhile, the others tease Arya about her big plots, which they say are floating. Arya complains, "These plots are so big that my shoulders hurt." Kenny, Vulcan, and Marta offer to massage and play with her plots, and they begin teasing her. In the background, Danny and Howard hear the strange noises from Arya and struggle to control their curiosity. They decide to peek but are caught by Tama, who scares them off with a howl. The next day, the group proceeds further into the area and encounters wolves. Cedric commands everyone to scatter and attack individually to avoid being surrounded. Each member fights valiantly. Cedric impressively slays several wolves with a single slice. Tama decides to use his thunder howling skill to defeat a group of wolves, shocking Arya, who exclaims, "I didn't know you had more skills, Tama." Together, they defeat the wolves. The main villain, observing them from a distance, becomes angry and says, "That cat must be an elemental cat. Its power is extraordinary, but I'll handle it." The group continues further, only to face the boss himself. He reveals, "My name is Beryl, and I am the savior of demon kind." Dany asks, "Are you kidnapping humans for revenge?" Beryl responds, "Silence. No one can stop me from achieving my goal." Minions come forth. Massive trolls appear, and Cedric orders everyone to spread out to avoid being surrounded. The group spreads out and prepares for the battle ahead. Beryl says, "That's exactly what I wanted," and then creates a barrier around them, trapping everyone separately. Tama finds himself trapped alone in one of the barriers. The trolls then begin attacking them. Tama dodges an attack and manages to cut off the troll's hand, but the troll had the power of regeneration, causing its hand to grow back instantly. On the other side, Dany tells Cedric, "Master, get ready." Cedric responds, "You all get ready too." He unsheathes his sword, releases his power, and single-handedly kills the trolls with one strike. Witnessing this, even Beryl is astonished and says, "This is dark magic. Were you perhaps part of the great mage's team in the war?" Cedric responds, "Your memory doesn't seem sharp. Looks like I'll need to remind you." Meanwhile, Tama uses his howling attack on the trolls, but it has no effect as they keep regenerating. Seeing this, Tama becomes troubled and thinks to himself, "Trolls are A-rank monsters. I can't fight them like this. I need to use another skill. Should I evolve into my second form? No, if I do that, my true identity will be revealed, and I won't be able to stay with Master Arya." Tama then uses fire howling to burn the trolls. Although the trolls try to regenerate, they are eventually burned again and got destroyed completely. Meanwhile, Arya and Vulcan attacks Beryl, but Beryl easily dodges their attacks, taunting, "Foolish humans. Do you think you can defeat me so easily?" Arya sneaks up and attacks Beryl with a dagger, but Beryl blocks it. Vulcan creates a smoke screen, blinding Beryl temporarily. Taking advantage of the situation, Arya uses her acceleration speed and plunges her dagger into Beryl's chest. Beryl is unaffected at first, but Arya releases her power through the dagger, causing Beryl severe pain. Beryl dies but manages to injure Arya's hand before collapsing. As Beryl dies, the barriers disappear, but Arya's condition worsens due to the dagger's poison, which begins spreading rapidly throughout her body. Seeing this, Tama, Dany, and Cedric are deeply worried, not knowing what to do as the poison spreads fast. They rush Arya to a doctor, who informs them there's no cure for this poison. Arya has only 12 hours left to live. Hearing this, everyone is shocked and pleads for an antidote. The doctor replies, "The antidote isn't easy to obtain. To create it, we'll need the heart of an earth dragon." Hearing this, Falcon and others volunteer to go after the dragon, but Cedric advises them to calm down, saying, "We won't find an earth dragon so easily. What should we do?" Meanwhile, Tama thinks to himself, "I can't stay here and do nothing." Tama sneaks out and heads straight to the dungeon, determined to save Arya. He recalls how Arya has always taken care of him and decides he cannot let her die. He confronts the same dragon from the first episode. The dragon laughs and asks, "What brings you here?" Tama replies, "I've come to take your heart." The dragon laughs louder and says, "Do you think you'll get it so easily?" and attacks Tama. Tama struggles against the dragon, realizing that he cannot defeat it in his current state. He thinks, "I can't win like this. I must evolve into my second form. But if I do, I won't be able to stay with Master Arya anymore. Forgive me, Arya-sama. This might be my end." Tama evolves into his second form, transforming into a massive, fearsome monster. Seeing Tama's transformation, even the dragon is shocked. The two then engage in an epic battle. And with this, the episode ends, and subscribe to the channel for next part.